Science has always told us that the moon is our silent guardian. But science also hides a terrifying truth. Every single year, the moon drifts 3.8 centimeters further away from the Earth. For decades, we were told this was a natural result of tidal friction. We were told it was harmless. We were lied to. In 2026, a top-secret laser-ranging experiment at the Apache Point Observatory discovered a terrifying anomaly. The moon isn't just drifting, it is accelerating. And it isn't moving in a random outward spiral. It is adjusting its trajectory. The Shorai Council has unearthed ancient astronomical records from the zero-layer discovery, the same Silurian archives that warned us about the Great Filter. The records describe the moon not as a natural satellite, but as a containment unit. For 4 billion years, the moon's mass has been perfectly positioned to stabilize Earth's crust and keep our core from detonating. But the archives also contain a chilling prophecy. The moon will depart when the biological experiment is complete. As the distance between our worlds grows, the Earth is beginning to tilt. The seasons are fracturing. The tides, once predictable, are now massive surges that threaten to swallow our coastlines. But the physical destruction is only the beginning. NASA's lunar orbiters have detected a massive energy discharge coming from the Shackleton crater on the moon's south pole. It's a signal. The moon isn't leaving because of physics. It's leaving because its keepers have decided that humanity has reached its expiration date. The umbilical cord that kept our planet stable is being cut. We always looked at the moon and saw a rock. We should have been looking at a timer, and the clock just hit zero. The departure of the moon is not just an astronomical event. It is a death sentence for the Earth's geology. For billions of years, the moon's gravitational pull has acted like a steady hand on a spinning top, keeping our planet's wobble in check. But as the moon accelerates away from us, that hand is being removed. The Shorai Council's global sensors have detected the first symptoms of the Great Unbalancing. Deep within the Earth, the iron core is beginning to shift. Without the moon to anchor our rotation, the Earth's axial tilt is starting to fluctuate wildly. In a matter of weeks, the North Pole has drifted 6 miles. This isn't just about changing seasons. The shifting core is creating magma surges unlike anything in recorded history. In the Ring of Fire, dormant volcanoes are waking up, not one by one, but all at once. The sky over the Pacific is no longer blue. It is a permanent shroud of sulfur and ash. But the most terrifying discovery came from the deepest parts of the ocean. The moon's gravity used to bulge our oceans, creating the tides. Now, as that gravity weakens, the oceans are literally collapsing back toward the poles. Massive mega tsunamis are scouring the coastlines, erasing entire cities in minutes. Dr. Aris Thorne's surviving data logs suggest that the moon was also acting as a magnetic shield. Its presence helps stir the Earth's internal dynamo, maintaining the magnetic field that protects us from solar radiation. As the moon recedes, our shield is thinning. High-altitude pilots are reporting auroras over the equator, a beautiful shimmering sign that the sun's radiation is finally reaching the surface. The electronics that power our world are frying under the solar wind. We aren't just losing our moon. We are losing our protection. The moon is now visible even in the daytime, but it looks different. It's smaller, colder, and as it moves, it's emitting a low-frequency hum that can be heard by anyone, standing in the silence of the new wastelands. It's the sound of a machine powering up for a long journey. The Earth is being left behind, a broken toy no longer needed by its creators. As the moon reached the threshold of the Lagrange point, the final illusion shattered. For centuries, we looked through telescopes and saw a barren, cratered wasteland of gray dust. We were seeing a mask. Under the intense stress of its acceleration, the lunar crust began to fracture and peel away. In the lunar seas, the vast basaltic plains, massive tectonic plates of rock didn't crumble. They slid open like the bay doors of an aircraft carrier. The Shorai Council's deep space cameras captured the impossible. Beneath the dust of the Shackleton crater, there is no mantle. There is no core. There is only a geometric skeleton of a dark, non-reflective alloy that absorbs all light. The moon is hollow. It is a megastructure, a planetary-scale vessel. It has been parked in our orbit for 4 billion years. The hum that humanity had been hearing wasn't a geological fluke. It was the sound of gravitational engines, technology so advanced it manipulates the curvature of space-time. As these engines hit full capacity, the moon's surface began to glow with a pale neon-violet lattice. Astronomers realized with horror that the craters we had mapped for centuries weren't asteroid impacts. They were exhaust ports and sensor arrays, now glowing with the heat of a machine waking up. The realization sent shockwaves through what was left of human society. If the moon is a ship, then what was its purpose? The Silurian archives provided the final, devastating piece of the puzzle. The moon wasn't just a stabilizer for Earth, it was a seed bank and a lifeboat. It had been collecting the DNA of every species that ever lived on Earth, acting as a cosmic backup drive for the biological experiment. And now the drive was full. The keepers, whoever or whatever they are, have harvested what they needed. To them, the Earth is not a home to be protected. It is a petri dish to be discarded. As the moonship prepares for its jump into deep space, it is performing a final gravity slingshot. It is using the Earth's own rotational energy to propel itself into the void. This final maneuver is causing the Earth's crust to ripple like water. Mountains are collapsing and the very atmosphere is being pulled thin. As the moon drags a portion of our oxygen into its wake, we are watching our guardian turn into our executioner. The great silence of the moon has ended, and in its place is the roar of a machine leaving a dying world behind. As the moonship crossed the orbital threshold, every screen, radio, and neural link on Earth suddenly went white. The global grid, already shattered by core shifts, was hijacked by a signal of immense power. It bypassed our hardware entirely. It was a broadcast etched directly into the electromagnetic field of the planet. The image that appeared wasn't a face. It was a series of geometric fractals, a visual language. Our AI instantly translated it as a closing report. The keepers weren't gods nor conquerors. They were archivists. The transmission revealed a history that made the Shorai Council weep. Earth was never meant to be a permanent home for intelligence. It was a bioreactor, designed to spark evolution and then be harvested once life forms reached their peak complexity. The moon was the harvest vessel. The message contained a terrifying log of every species that had come before us. The Silurians, the trilobite hive minds, the cephalopod empires of the deep past, all recorded, then cleared to make room for the next batch. We were simply version 7.4 of the experiment. But then the signal changed. The fractals dissolved into a sound, a voice that sounded like 1,000 languages. Speaking at once, it said, "The data is complete. The entropy of this sector has reached critical levels. The stabilizer is no longer required." The stabilizer was the moon itself. By leaving, they weren't just taking our history, they were purposefully destabilizing the Earth to trigger a global reset. Without the moon's gravity to keep the Earth's crust from sliding over the mantle, the planet began to turn within its own skin. In the Shorai bunkers, the scientists watched as the stars in the sky began to move in the wrong direction. The Earth was flipping on its axis. The atmosphere was being whipped into hypercyclones that reached the edge of space. The final words of the transmission were the coldest. "Selection has been made. The rest is noise. Farewell, version 7.4. As the transmission cut to black, the violet glow of the moon intensified. A massive gravity wave rippled outward, hitting the Earth like a physical hammer. It was the kickstart of the moon's warp drive. We weren't just being abandoned, we were being discarded like an empty shell. The moon did not go quietly. As its warp engines engaged, a final massive gravitational surge tore through the Earth's atmosphere, pulling a trail of our oxygen and water into the vacuum like a silver ghost. In a blinding flash of violet light, our guardian was gone. The immediate silence was more terrifying than the roar of the engines. Without the moon's reflection, nights became suffocating blackness. But darkness was the least of our problems. The Earth, now untethered, began its final tilt. Its rotation became erratic. The sun no longer rose in the east. It zigzagged across a fractured horizon. Chaos reigned. The Shorai Council, deep in their tectonic shielded bunkers, realized the global reset the keepers spoke of had begun. Earth's crust began to slide over the liquid mantle like a loose rug. Continents shifted miles in a single day. The geography we spent 10,000 years mapping was erased in a week. A new world emerged. But humanity is a resilient error in the Keeper's code. We are the noise they left behind. Survivors discovered a strange phenomenon. The moon's gravity had suppressed our planet's natural psionic frequency. With the stabilizer gone, the human mind began to change. People started to dream of the moonship's destination, a place at the edge of the galaxy where version 7.4 was being uploaded into a new synthetic reality. We are a planet of ghosts living on a world that is literally turning itself inside out. No tides, no stable seasons, no protection from the solar winds. The sky is a constant fire of auroras and the ground beneath us is never still. We are the first generation of the tetherless, a new breed of humanity. The departure was not an end, but a transition. We are no longer a biological experiment under observation. We are a wild, discarded species, left to evolve in a chaotic, moonless void. The Keepers took our DNA, but they left us our will. As we look up at the empty space where our moon once sat, we don't feel grief anymore. We feel cold, burning ambition. They think we are noise. They think the experiment is over. But they forgot one thing. They left the door open when they left. This is Shorai Vision. We are the children of the empty sky. And one day we are going to follow the signal and find out where our guardian went. Subscribe and witness the rise of the tetherless. The story of humanity has only just truly begun.